Hi and welcome to Westpac London's end of day report for Tuesday, September the 13th. Sentiment on equity markets had a pretty rocky start here in Europe. We saw further losses, particularly related to French banks, because of ongoing concerns about the near-term prospect of a Greek government default. Those concerns were added to by Angela Merkel from Germany, saying that it wasn't possible to have an orderly debt restructure of Greece until 2013, when the European Stability Mechanism comes in. But the mere fact that she said it wasn't possible until 2013 simply made people think, well, probably they actually are discussing it now, just that they don't want to actually admit it. An Italian bond auction didn't go off too well. The yield on the 5-year notes was up sharply from the previous auction a couple of months ago. So the concern about contagion from the smaller problematic sovereigns to the larger Europeans like Spain and Italy does remain as well. However, and then we had the news that an Italian finance ministry official said that the Chinese weren't actually looking at, or the Italians and Chinese weren't in detailed negotiations about Chinese support for the Italian bond market. So there are a few negatives that were swirling around today, but nevertheless, sentiment did turn positive once the US market had opened. Difficult to pinpoint any real reason for that. One of the French banks that's allegedly in difficulty in terms of funding has said that it doesn't need funding from the American side of the Atlantic, that it can continue to fund itself adequately using European sources, which basically means the European Central Bank. Economic data out of the US included a fall, the 6th consecutive monthly fall in small business sentiment in the month of August. But economic sentiment, which is a measure of consumer confidence in September, actually rose, recovering part of its August decline. So where we are at the moment, we've actually got, and it's about 5 o'clock London time, we've got the Dow pretty much unchanged on the day. It was trading a little bit higher earlier on, but it's also traded in negative territory. The broader S&P measure of the US stock market's up 0.4% at the moment, and the European markets have turned around, having traded down 1 or 2% earlier today. The FTSE is now up 0.8%, French market up 1.2%, and the German market up 1.5%. So not enough to bounce back from yesterday's losses, but nevertheless a bit of a positive sort of vibe coming through, at least as I speak, with about 3.5 hours of trading in the US markets still to go. Reflecting that slightly positive sentiment, commodity prices are creeping a bit higher. We've got oil prices up 0.9%, $88.97 a barrel. Gold prices are up 0.7%, $1,826 an ounce, and copper prices are up about 1/3% as well. Aussie dollars is just above 103, or actually 103.5 at the moment against the US dollar. Tonight in Australia, we get consumer sentiment figures. Westpac's September report coming out. Remember, sentiment did fall very sharply in July and August, so we'll get an update on what happened in September. One other thing, and sort of mixing it up again a bit, just worth mentioning, UK CPI inflation rose to 4.5% today, and the trade deficit widened in the UK as well. Both those numbers indicate that the Bank of England's projections are pretty much coming to fruition. That is that the economy is going to weaken, and the net export position is not going to be particularly supportive of that. But in the short term, at least, inflation is going to remain an issue. Our view is that as soon as we start to see some evidence of inflation falling, and it will fall through 2012, we'll probably see the Bank of England embark on another round of quantitative easing. And we'll get more on the prospect of quantitative easing in the United States from data flows over the next couple of days, where we've got some pretty important retail sales figures, industrial production figures, and also business surveys for the month of September. So a few things to look forward to over the next few days. All right, I won't speak to you from Westpac tomorrow. I'll be doing it from Paris, actually, on my laptop. So a bit of a different format for the daily report tomorrow for you to look forward to. Okay, speak to you then. Bye-bye.